For years, millions of PUBG players had the same problem. They loved PUBG. They wanted to play with their friends. They wanted the same battle royale experience. But their devices were not powerful enough. Low storage, FPS drops, heating issues, and performance problems. Now, after years of waiting, something big is happening. PUBG is finally bringing a lighter experience for players. Global players are getting PUBG Mobile Lite, and Indian players are getting BGMI Lite. Two different versions, two different communities, but one same goal: to bring the real PUBG experience to more players. But the biggest question is, how will these Lite versions work? Will they feel like the original PUBG? Will they stay connected with the main games? What features will players get? And can this bring back the golden era of PUBG gaming? In this video, we are going to discuss everything about PUBG Mobile Lite and BGMI Lite. So let's begin. PUBG Mobile became one of the biggest mobile games in history because of one simple reason. It gave players a true battle royale experience. The feeling of landing on the map, searching for weapons, fighting intense battles, playing with friends, and trying to survive until the end. But as the game became bigger, the requirements also increased. The game size became larger, updates became bigger, and many players with budget smartphones started facing problems. For them, the problem was never PUBG. The problem was their device limitations. And this is where Lite versions become important. Now let's talk about PUBG Mobile Lite. This new version is designed for global PUBG Mobile players who want a lighter and more optimized experience. The biggest difference is that this is not a completely different game. It is connected with the PUBG mobile ecosystem. Players will be able to use their PUBG mobile account. This means the connection between the main game and the Lite version will be much stronger. The goal is simple: give players the same PUBG experience in a smaller and more accessible package. One of the biggest advantages of PUBG Mobile Lite is the size. The initial download is around 1 GB on Android and under 2 GB on iOS. This is a huge difference for players who struggle with storage problems. And another interesting thing is, players will not need to download a massive additional package before playing their first match. Once the required download is completed, players can enter the battlefield directly. Another important feature is flexible downloads. Instead of forcing every player to download everything, players will have more control over what resources they need. This means less storage usage, faster installation, and a better experience for devices with limited space. Now let's talk about BGMI Lite. For Indian players, this is a very exciting update, because BGMI is the Indian version of PUBG Mobile. And now Indian players will also get a lighter version designed for the BGMI community. The idea remains the same: a smaller and smoother experience. A version that allows more players to enjoy BGMI without needing expensive smartphones. This is a very important step because not every player owns a flagship device. Millions of players use budget and mid-range phones. They want to play PUBG. They want to play with their friends. But they need better optimization. And Lite versions can solve that problem. But now comes the biggest question: what do players actually want from these Lite versions? Many people think players only want events, skins, and collaborations. But for many old PUBG fans, that is not the main reason they play. They want the original PUBG feeling: smooth gameplay, realistic gunfights, balanced weapons, good maps, new guns, better optimization, and most importantly, a game with fewer bugs. Because PUBG became famous because of its gameplay, not just because of cosmetics. Of course, some players enjoy events and collaborations. They believe they add more content and make the game more exciting. And that is completely understandable. But for many classic PUBG players, the core experience will always come first. A true battle royale game, where the gameplay matters the most. Now another important question: how will PUBG Mobile Lite and BGMI Lite be different from the old PUBG Mobile Lite? The old Lite version was a separate experience focused mainly on weaker devices. But these new Lite versions seem to have a stronger connection with their main games. The idea is not just creating a smaller game. The idea is creating a lighter version of the same PUBG experience. This could also change the future of mobile gaming, because the biggest audience is not always the people with the most expensive phones. Millions of players around the world want high-quality games that simply run well on their devices. A game does not need to be the biggest size. It needs to give players a great experience. So what does this mean for the future? PUBG Mobile players are getting a lighter version. BGMI players are getting a lighter version. And millions of players who struggled with performance issues may finally get a better way to enjoy PUBG. This could be a new beginning for players who were left behind because of hardware limitations. Because sometimes, the biggest upgrade is not making a game bigger. Sometimes, the biggest upgrade is making a great game available to everyone. The question is, will PUBG Mobile Lite and BGMI Lite bring back the golden era of PUBG? Only time will tell. Subscribe for more upcoming knowledgeable content.